Hey, Raptor Freaks, Lexios here. Wednesday, and we're doing kind of reminiscent kind of stream today because I've done a whole year of streaming, 365 days in a row as of yesterday, and we're starting our second year today, baby. Isaac Campbell winning. Yes, yes. I mean, there is general news and notes I'd like to go over first, real quick. They've announced, what up, Tom Duke? Yes, good to see you, Tom Duke. They've announced, in fact, I want to talk about this right now. What I sent a message to Tom Duke yesterday telling him the date when they're going to have the open practice and the charity scrimmage for the Raptors in training camp in Victoria, British Columbia, where Tom resides. Tom and Shane Waters, West Coast Raptor Freaks Unite. There is a date and a time for the tickets to go on sale. And Tom is on it now, baby. That's cool. They're going to have a charity scrimmage. So, Tom, you're going to get to go see the Raptors versus the Raptors. It's going to be a little bit like a Rico Hines run from this summer. You're going to get to see that when training camp starts up there. I forget the dates exactly and all that stuff, but you got the information. Let me go look at my Facebook. I'll just see what I sent, Tom. Then I can tell all of you guys on the stream also. I should be prepared here. Let me see. Okay, so the Raptors will have their open practice and charity scrimmage at the end of training camp in Victoria on September the 30th. So September the 30th is the day to see Raptors versus Raptors. And how many days away from that? It's only 2 weeks away. The tickets will go on sale Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so there's your heads up, West Coast Raptor Freaks. The open practice is on the 30th, and the tickets go on sale Friday at 1 o'clock. So get on it. Get on it. Tom can't wait. Let's go. Let's go. All right, just a heads up. Monique dropped the knowledge on me last night, and thank you, Monique, for doing it. Scotty has a second YouTube channel now. Finally, all of a sudden, he has his channel, which he's doing the life of Scotty Barnes on, and we have 2 clips so far. And now he has one called Scotty Barnes Live, and it's where he's clipping parts of his Twitch streams and throwing them up on this channel. So go follow that, Scotty Barnes Live. It is his official affiliated channel with Scotty Barnes. So now he has 2 YouTube channels, one for each thing. And go check it out. He has 2 clips up. One of them is of when he watched his middle school and high school clips that one night. That was really good stuff. And I'm glad he did this because this is gold content. Seriously, to see him look at himself when he was just a little kid, what he was doing then, and talking about what he was going through and who the other teammates and players he was playing against is. It's such a fantastic clip. And now you don't have to go search through all the Twitch to find it. Scotty has cut it out and put it there to present to you on his Scotty Barnes Live channel. So give it a follow. It just got put up a couple days ago, and yeah, it's going to get a lot of followers real quick and real fast. The other clip is a segment of the matchup from Saturday afternoon versus Flight. Flight versus Scotty, and I think I know why he's made this channel. I'm gonna be honest here. Flight put his win over Scotty all over his stuff on his channel and stuff like that. Well, maybe there's a little bit of information wars going on here because Scotty wanted to show the games where they did well against Flight also and where they beat him, and not have all of Flight's people just think, oh, he just dominated Scotty. No, that's not true. Because in the clip that Scotty has up there, you'll see them beat them and then lose a very close game and stuff like that. But it's fun. So he's got Flight versus Scotty up there, and Scotty from middle school and high school. Scotty Barnes Live, new YouTube channel. Go subscribe, y'all. Just do it. Just do it. All right, let's see. Tom Duke saying Blake Murphy even sent me a link to get tickets. Only $20 to $40. Great value to watch the boys battle for those bottom 4 spots. Blake Murphy? That's awesome. What a guy. What a guy, Blake Murphy. So, well, Tom, get on it and go. That's going to be awesome. Today, they're actually got some of the preseason tickets on sale for the game here in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena against the Bulls in the preseason game on that Sunday. And I am going to be in the building for that one for sure. I will be there. Monique saying, good morning. Happy to support you in the channel. Monique, thank you. I really do appreciate your support. You're one of the best Raptor fans out there, and having you involved in my stream is an honor. I'm not gonna lie, Monique. I really do love that you're here regularly with us and that you came to meet and greet and just all the fun friendship and stuff like that that's going on with the Raptor Freak cult and Monique Lawrence and everything and stuff like that. Monique is a real Raptor Freak. No lie, no lie. Good morning to Sue, one of the originals. Sue has been here with me all year. And I really appreciate Sue's presence on here also throughout the whole year. A true Raptor Freak also. In fact, let's look at what I was talking about a year ago at this time. My first ever clip that I did was a player preview for the season. And I basically went through the whole roster and kind of talked about each player and what I expected from them for the year and stuff like that. I was totally wrong about Scotty. I was very wrong about Chris Boucher, but I was right about a few of them, like Pascal. Pascal was right. He's going to come back. He's going to be better than ever. And there was a lot of doubt because Pascal was hurt at that time with his shoulder and he had to come back and he didn't come back right away. And we had no idea if he was going to get back to that all NBA level. Well, he did because he was all NBA by the end of the year, even though he missed the first month. All right, David Saborin's here. Good morning, David. Well done, Lex. The stream is a huge part of my days. I know I don't comment as much as I used to, but I love lurking and listening. Best to stay out of everyone's way. You know what, David? Listen. I know we've had our ups and downs and stuff like that, but I love you, brother, man. Listen, there's like a little bit of confusion at certain points, but listen, I love your enthusiasm and passion for the Raptors, man. That is what a Raptor Freak needs to have, and you are definitely a real one. And you are our current trivia leader right now, and you are a badass. I love you, brother, and I want to go to the game with you guys. You and Peter, I want to go to this game coming up with the Bulls and stuff like that. Let's figure this out. Monique saying, remember, be consistent. Oh, Monique, I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter if Rogers has an outage for like most of the day and I can't get this done in the morning. I will find a way to get on there and talk about Rico Hines being a coach at midnight or 11 p.m. that night. I did not want to mess my streak up. It doesn't matter that I had to go to the other country, to the States, and run around and do moving and all this kind of stuff. I still made sure I got on there at least once a day and said something and stuff like that. So yeah, Monique, if consistency is one of my best strengths, I'm not going to lie. I will be consistent and I will be here. That's for sure. Sue saying, I'm so proud of you, Lex, for your 365 in a row. I'm so glad I could be along for the ride. You're amazing. You're amazing, Sue, and you're awesome. And you're another person I want to hang out with at the game or something like that and watch some of the games with. You know, get a little contingency of us. The Raptor Freak cult sitting in our own little section and just going off, being crazy Raptor Freak fans and showing the rest of the arena just how crazy we are for the Raptors and stuff like that. Champion. Yes, David Saborin. I love that cup. I love that cup. That's going to be your Vince Carter bobblehead at the end of the year. Oh, yeah. That's probably going to be yours. Shanky is coming after you, though. I have to say, that's good competition in the trivia. Good stuff yesterday with the Kawhi Leonard trivia there. Paul B's here. Good to see Paul B, who's been very helpful to me with clipping the clips for Scotty and just being a cool dude. And the highlight reel we put together for last season, Paul B is kind of like in the production studio with the Raptor Freak. He is a Raptor Freak production dude. And I love Paul B and like his off the wall kind of comments sometimes and just, you know, he's just a cool dude. And I know that Paul's not always here in the morning with us, but I love hearing from him later on and different times and stuff like that. I appreciate the congratulations and stuff like that. Yeah, we'll get together for sure soon. Okay. All right, David, for sure. I sent y'all Facebook invites just so y'all know. I know you're probably not on there that much, you and Peter. Sue saying, I would love to come to a game with all you guys. Just let me know when our game is and I'll be there. Awesome. We're tentatively trying for this Bulls preseason game because listen, this may be a thing where that may not be that full. People kind of sleep on when the Raptors are back. They don't see it until they see it in the paper, like, oh, the Raptors played last night, and then they start looking. So this is a good time for people who are in the know and ahead of things. Go to that preseason game because tickets will be available. And we could maybe even like make it so we could all go sit in one section, even though we don't have the same tickets. We could just go hang out and sit in one section anyway. Stuff like that. Monique's saying, did we bring up Kyle's departure yet? No, we did not, Monique. And that is actually something I want to talk about here. So last year, other than doing player previews, we were talking a lot about Goran Dragic at this time. We had just made this trade for Goran Dragic and Precious Achua for Kyle Lowry. And, we were talking about like a little bit like what Monique's saying. What are we going to miss about Kyle Lowry? What are the intangibles that he brings to the game? Because he really is a player of intangibles. There's a grittiness, a toughness, a leadership, just a guile to him that is very, very special to Kyle Lowry specifically. And, we were worried about missing him in different ways. Well, I really honestly have to say, Fred hit it out the park this year, this past season, with how much he stepped into Kyle's shoes and really helped carry us as a floor general and a leader and just kind of a figurehead. Like, I set the trend and the tone of this team. We're hardworking, we're all for one for all, and we're going about our business to win. That is what we're all about. And Fred really did step into it that very, very well. In fact, I want to say that Fred, because he's not so animosity like we talked about recently with the referees, in some ways he's a better leader than Kyle in some ways. But listen, we were worried about this, but we had no reason to worry about this. Fred had us on this one. Oh yeah, he did. Let's see, David saying taking those charges like a champ. That is definitely something that we missed. We didn't have as many charges taken with Kyle not being here. That's for sure. Randolph Phillips saying, good morning, the gang. Good morning, Raptor Freak Randolph Phillips. Always good to see your name in the chat. Appreciate you. Paul B saying, sorry if this was mentioned, but Kyle Lowry was at UFC 279 in Las Vegas, and he was on the pay-per-view right before the highly anticipated co-main event featuring the new star Kazmat Kiev. I don't know if I said that right. Great timing. Yeah, Kyle was at UFC. I did see a picture of him in the crowd. I forget who he was sitting with. Oh, he was sitting with Jamal Murray. That's right. He was sitting with Canadian player Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets, hanging out with Kyle Lowry at UFC. Very interesting stuff. Sue said she got the email yesterday saying she could buy tickets for a preseason starting today at noon. That's right. Real Raptor fans got that email early. They get it yesterday, and it's all about buying tickets today at noon. I highly doubt they'll sell out a preseason game against the Bulls, but whoa, wouldn't that be crazy indicator of just how crazy people are waiting to get back to Raptor season and seeing them right away, that they sell out a preseason game right away? What? I mean, they'll sell out the preseason games in Edmonton and Montreal for sure. But that one in Toronto, would they sell out the preseason game in Toronto just because people are so starved to see Scotty Barnes and the rest of the guys back on the court? Oh my gosh. Monique saying, Lex, I got pre-sale in my email, even though I don't need it. She's probably, she's already got her ins. Trust me. Monique gets in that building. If she wants to get in that building, she does. Oh yeah, she does. She is very lucky, Sue. You're right. Tom Duke's also saying that Lowry was also at the WNBA finals. So Lowry's taking a little bit of time to be hanging out in Las Vegas, catching some UFC and some WNBA. That's right. He was at the WNBA game last night. That's very cool. Very, very cool. Joseph Starks is here. Another Raptor Freak from over the year. We see Joseph Starks jump in here every once in a while. We love you, Joseph. We're glad you're here today. What is the thumbnail, and who is that tall, shaved, Pirtle-looking dude? Raptor jersey. He looks cool. All right, Joseph, I'll explain the thumbnail today. That is me in Tallahassee 2 weeks ago singing Love Shack by the B-52s with those nice young Florida State students, those young ladies that are in the picture with me. They were singing the Kate Pearson female part, and I was singing the Fred Schneider, like, I've got a Chrysler, it's as big as a whale, and it's about to set sail. We were singing Love Shack. And they wanted to sing that song with me. I sang Electric Avenue first. I got up there and went, doing, out in the street there is violence. Oh, yeah, I went off on Eddie Grant. And these girls were like, whoa, you can sing, you're fun. And we want to sing a song with you. So we got up there and we sang Love Shack. And it was awesome. But I wanted to represent Scotty in Tallahassee, Florida State country, and make them remember that Scotty Barnes is a Seminole and he's on the Raptors. And the thing I said when I got up there, Joseph, with the mic, I said, listen, y'all, ESPN, NBA TV, TNT, they're not going to tell you the truth about the Raptors this year. We are coming. We are a contender. We are for real. We want Larry O'Brien's, and y'all need to watch out because the Raptors are on the rise with young Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet. So you have been warned, is what I said on the microphone to all those young FSU students in the room at karaoke night. I'm like telling them, I'm giving them their warning that the Raptors are coming for championships. And it was hilarious. They were all looking at each other. What is he talking about? But I had to do it. I really did, because I have to educate the youth of America on some of the news they're not getting about the Toronto Raptors, because they just don't want to say it on their TV down there. No, they don't. So I came down there and dropped some education on them. That's right. That's what I did. But yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, Pirtle, I look a little bit like Pirtle. Okay, I'll take it. Pirtle's not a bad looking guy. The one time I met Jakob Pirtle, he was walking with some very attractive girls down Dundas Street near Kensington Market. And yeah, Pirtle's a cool dude. I'll take that. I'll take that. But yeah, thank you, bro. And yeah, that's the story with all that. Tom Duke's saying right on to Mo. Randolph Phillips. All right, he has brought up something very, very serious in the news about the NBA right now. The NBA got it wrong with Robert Sarver, the Phoenix Suns owner. This is something we knew this was coming, that there's some really ugly, toxic stuff going on with the Phoenix Suns organization. That Earl Watson being on the Toronto Raptors is partly because of this, that he was in the Phoenix Suns organization, and Robert Sarver himself was ugly towards Earl Watson. In fact, there may be some speculation that he's one of the people that he used the N-word about. I don't know. I can't say that's for sure, but this is what we're talking about. Robert Sarver, owner of the Phoenix Suns, has been repeatedly said the N-word in conversations with people. He's repeatedly put down women and been demeaning to them and treated them like second-class citizens in different ways in his organization. And he has now been suspended for a year from the NBA and interacting with the Suns or the Mercury in any kind of way. He's not allowed to go to the buildings. He's not allowed to represent them anywhere. He's not allowed to go to the games, obviously. And this is very similar to the Donald Sterling thing that happened a few years ago when Adam Silver became the commissioner. They kicked him right out. Well, it could be that they are going to still try and kick Robert Sarver out. You guys got to understand there's a process to this. The NBA has gotten him in trouble. Now, it's not up to them to kick him out. It's up to the owners. And what happened with Donald Sterling was all the owners got together and they voted to kick Donald Sterling out. So they have to do the same to kick Robert Sarver out. Is they have to all get together and say, this dude is bad for our league, and they have to vote to kick him out. It's not up to Adam Silver in the NBA. It's up to the owners. So this could still happen, especially since he's got this punishment now. Now, he doesn't think he should be getting punished for anything. This dude is totally clueless and out of touch with things like that. He got really upset that they wanted to do this to him, and he was fighting it every way that he can. But this is what they've gotten it to at this point, that he's going to be fined $10 million and suspended for a year. A lot of people think this is light, and how the hell can he be in charge and be this dude and owner when it's blatantly out there that he uses the N-word and that he mistreats women in the organization? Well, we got to see what the process happens. Maybe the owners will vote him out and get him out of there. Some people are jaded about this and say, well, all owners are just like this, probably deep down inside. They're just rich old white guys. And maybe they are a little racist and sexist and old world money because like where they've been owners for a while. It'd be interesting to see how many of the owners are actually like Donald Sterling and Robert Sarver. There may be more than we want to understand that there are. I don't think Larry Tannenbaum's like this at all and stuff like that. Seeing Larry Tannenbaum at the U.S. Open with John Bon Jovi, Jerry Seinfeld, Debbie Gibson, Rick Astley, Larry seems like a good dude. And everything I've seen about him when he's around like Kyle Lowry and different people like that, he's just pure love. And he really does care about the NBA. Like he tried so hard to get an NBA franchise in here for years and years. And he wanted to be the owner of the Raptors before, but he was blocked out by different people. Well, he was consistent. And now he's where he is and stuff like that. And that's the thing. You don't have that kind of passion in that kind of way without doing that kind of stuff. So that's very interesting about Robert Sarver. I know a lot of people are up in arms about him not just getting right on out, because like seriously, if you play for the Suns, how you're kind of feeling like how the Clippers felt around 10 years ago and things like that were happening with Sterling and stuff like that. This is why I don't think the Suns partly are going to be as good this year. That like this front office drama is going to be a distraction this year. and that maybe there's some problems. And they did so good last year. There's no way they can repeat that kind of record and that kind of winning this season, especially when we've seen that Aiton and Monty Williams aren't exactly on the same page, and there may be not total trust in Aiton as far as like in the playoff series and stuff like that for him stepping up and trying basically. So there's problems in Phoenix, and they're not total dumpster fire because they're kind of a winning team, but the front office is a dumpster fire. Let's put it that way for sure. Paul B saying any Jalen Harris updates? Nothing that I've heard. He's obviously not on our team. We have heard a little bit of mumbling that he is going to be on our 905 this year. And that could very well be. That's probably the most likely that he'll be straight up 905 this year with an opportunity to get called up to any NBA team, not just the Raptors, just like last year for the 905 and the G League players and stuff like that. So I really think he's going to be straight up a 905 player if he's going to be involved with the Raptors at all. So Monique saying, no, Paul, he's likely playing overseas. Okay, so maybe Monique knows more. I thought I had heard that he was ready to just come in and be 905 for us this year and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe Monique's right. He may be going overseas and stuff to get money. Paul B saying, after everything he did for us, I hope you're wrong, Mo. You know what may be better for him, Paul? Let's not lie. He may make more money going overseas than playing on 905 this year. So it's a really tough thing, like getting in the NBA and sticking. That's why you can't mess around with it. You really, really can't. You really got to take it seriously and work hard and continue to progress and get better. Because, you know, you see what happens to people like Svi, and Yuta has to go to Brooklyn all of a sudden. Oh, my gosh, that's horrible and stuff like that. Let's see. Tom Duke is saying Sarver's story is egregious in every aspect, the acts and the judgment. Yeah, I mean, let's wait a little bit to see if something else goes further as far as the owners say, all right, yeah, you're a black eye on our league as far as like how you acted. And, you know, people don't trust you. And in fact, I really don't think he feels sorry about how he acted. I think he's just doing this for window dressing. I just get that vibe from him. He doesn't seem like the kind of dude that's like going to change from this. He's just going to be the same dude. So they probably should kick him out of the league, honestly. Skater Dylan's here. Boston fan, what's up? Congratulations on your 1 year, Lex. Glad to be here in your stream today. Thank you, Skater Dylan. We appreciate you, even though you rock that green and white, baby. Yeah. All right, let's see. Joseph Starks is saying 1 point forgotten about Sterling being kicked out was that the players led by LeBron threatened to strike if Sterling was not removed. So maybe we should expect this to also happen. This could be interesting. This is real power leverage. I forgot about this. This is exactly right. Joseph Starks said the players were ready to, you know, make some big, like holding out decisions because of Donald Sterling. I don't know if they'll do this with this. Maybe they will. I don't know. I think they should, because it's like, listen, this is how they make change. Use that power, just like Bill Russell did back in the day with that All-Star game and getting a union for the NBA players and stuff like that. Use your power, NBA players. If you don't like something like this, you have a lot of power. And I think you could make this change if they wanted to. And I think Joseph Starks might be right. This may be part of it. I don't know. We'll see. I've heard different people very critical of the NBA and how light this is in some ways. I mean, this isn't really light in some ways. $10 million, but he shouldn't really be involved in the NBA, honestly. I think anybody who's racist or uses the N-word on the regular should not be involved in ownership in the NBA. That should just be a rule. And maybe that was okay for the racist ass years way back and all through time and stuff like that. But we're changing. This is a new world and stuff like that. And that it wasn't okay then, really. It's just that now we have ways to suss them out and get them out and change it. And so like we really need to do this. And so we'll see. The players react. They may do this. I could really see them doing this very similar to what they did with Donald Sterling. But we'll have to see. Let's see. Monique saying Josh Jackson's officially in Toronto now. All right. Monique has seen Josh Jackson somewhere in Toronto somehow on some social media. I have not caught it myself, but Monique is just like me. We're both out there skimming that same pool of Raptors information, and her net sometimes will catch some leads that I missed. And I think Monique has seen Josh Jackson in Toronto. This is great. All these guys are coming back. Pascal jet setting his way back to this continent from Europe and stuff like that. Duke Rocks is saying you have to protect the brand at all costs. Stern killed the ref investigation, and the owners will kick this guy out. I think you're right, and I hope you're right, Duke. It'll be very interesting to see. Yeah, Sarver, you're an idiot, man. Listen, this is a cautionary tale for people in power in the NBA. You cannot be, like, oh, I can do whatever I want. I'm an egomaniac. I can say whatever. I'm in charge. I own this team. Fuck you. You can't do this kind of stuff. It's really bad and stuff like that. So hopefully they will. Tom Duke saying, good point, Joseph. And thanks, Lex, for the hope that Sarver can get punished further. Yeah, I think there is stuff. This is just what the NBA can do. Let's see what the owners can do, and let's see what the players can do, as Joseph brought up. Sue saying, agree. This will distract from the Suns this year. Too much going on. Yeah, even with him gone and the absence, it's already kind of a mark on their season right now. G saying, good morning. He's missing the Rico runs. We all are. But you know what? Victoria, BC, they're going to get their own Rico run with just the Raptors running September 30th. Victoria, BC, open practice, training camp, Raptors, baby. Yeah, let's go. Tom Duke and Shane Waters and the rest of the BC crew. Yeah, let's go. Literally, let's go. Joseph Starks saying, oh my God, imagine if Kevin Durant and all of his culture landed in Phoenix. That would have been a disaster. I'm almost sad now it didn't happen. F everybody else. Go Raps. Yeah, that is actually a pretty funny thought exercise. If the KD trade had gone through, Ayton had not done what he did with Indiana and made them match and keep him retained, and they had traded Ayton to Brooklyn for Kevin Durant, and he was in the middle of all this. Yeah, I'm sure he would have made his opinions known on what was going on with this on Twitter. He would definitely be outspoken on this for sure, for sure. Duke Rocks is saying, from an exposure point of view, playing in the G League might be better to get picked up by another NBA team in regards to Jalen Harris. That's a good point otherwise that Duke has. There's good and bad about going to Europe or staying here and being in G League. You want to be closer to the NBA and actually get in there, well, play for 905 this year, Jalen Harris. But if you want some money, yeah, go to Europe. That's probably the best way that's the route for money and stuff like that. But that's a good point by Duke. That if he wants to really reclaim a spot on the Raptors or any spot in the NBA, staying in the G League is probably a smart one. Anselm's here. Good to see Anselm. What's up, Alexi? Can't wait for this year's Raptors season. We're going to have to eat. We're going to have the East terrified. That's what he's saying. The East are going to be terrified. Bam. I love it, Anselm. That's a great prediction. And I think you're right. I really do. Like, I'm looking at my old streams from last year. And I said that last year around this time, I said the Raptors are a top 4 NBA Eastern Conference team. And let me tell you why. And this was at a time where everybody was trying to tell us we're not even going to make the playoffs. That we're so mid and we're so like garbage. Like, why do you think we can be so good, Alexi? You're crazy. People were telling me that. They're trying to tell me I was stupid for aiming so high. Well, who got closer? They got 5th. And if they had a couple of things go right for them in a couple of weird games, they probably could have been 4th. And I would have been exactly right at that point. So, listen, it's the same kind of thing. I just saw something where they're picking us 13th in the whole entire league right now. And we're behind Atlanta and Cleveland and Brooklyn. I'm like, no. We're not going to be behind any of those 3 teams. We're going to be better than all 3 of them record-wise. Trust. Cleveland, Atlanta, and Brooklyn, forget about it. I can tell you all the reasons why the Raptors are going to be better record-wise than those 3 teams right there. So they're still sliding us. They're still putting us a little lower. Well, we're just going to have to show them that the bar is always raised higher by where we expect to be and what the reality is from what they're going to predict and say on ESPN and stuff like that. Yeah, so I really believe Anselm's right. We are going to be making the East a little bit scared when we come to play them, stuff like that. Let's see. Monique saying that girl Liz Cabbage story is wild. I don't know about this story. Liz Cabbage. All right, let me do a Cambage. Oh, Liz Cambage. What's the story about her? What is going on with her? News. Taking leave from WNBA to focus on healing and personal growth. Okay, this is the lady who was playing for the Sparks, and things weren't working out, and she just left. Yeah, I kind of heard about this during the season. This is kind of like this happened like a couple months ago, I think, and stuff like that. But she's just taking a break for mental health or something like that. That's good. I don't think they were using her correctly, and she just said, "I'm leaving the team." and stuff like that. I think that's what it is and stuff like that. I'm obviously I'm not paying as close attention to WNBA as I probably should, but when we get a Toronto team, I will be. Trust me, I will be then for sure. All right, let me look at some more of the stuff. Like I said, at this time last year, we had Goran Dragic coming in, and one of my second clip I ever did was a sighting of Goran, and this was kind of like a clickbait thing because it was the topic du jour. I was trying to get people interested in my station, and talking about Goran Dragic touching down and being in Toronto, hanging out with Scotty Barnes and a couple other players downtown. It was talking about how Scotty was doing a goodwill tour for Goran to get him more ingratiated with Raptor fans because we hate him. He's a villain, and he was the whole time. He could not come here and make himself into a likable Raptor. It just couldn't happen. It was not possible. But Scotty was doing his best as a young player. He hadn't even played for us to make him look good, to make him likable, saying, "This is my friend Goran, y'all. Let's be nice to Goran," and stuff like that. Well, we appreciate that, Scotty, because he did help give Goran a chance to get some sort of like maybe possibly good faith with Raptors Nation, but it just didn't take. Some things, Scotty Barnes is a very powerful, strong person with a great personality and a lot of power and charisma. But this is not enough power and charisma to get Goran Dragic over with Raptors Nation. I'm sorry. It's just truth and stuff like that. So let's see. Duke Rocks is saying, I saw a comment regarding Josh Jackson. Can't remember the comparison made, but then analysts stated Jackson in many ways was considered better than Tatum. This is true, Duke. In fact, I researched a lot about Josh Jackson when we got him. And the Boston Celtics were really seriously considering drafting him over Tatum at that moment when that draft. And they picked Tatum in the end. But they were very much like equal in their minds. And they were going back and forth between Josh Jackson and Jason Tatum. Just imagine the difference that things would have happened for the Celtics franchise if they had taken Josh Jackson at that spot instead of Jason Tatum. And then Jason Tatum might be on the Suns right now instead. Very interesting. Rank Scrub's here. Good to see Rank Scrub. Another one who's been here most of this past year. Original Raptor Freak. When Toronto gets a WNBA team, the team will be full of gorgeous Quebec women that will make every other team in the league furious. All right, listen. I got a new character. And I got a new character. We know Justin Bieber, but I want y'all to introduce on this first day of our second year of Raptor Freak channel, Corny Cup. Hey guys, I'm Corny Cup. I just want to say, Rank Scrub, that's an excellent idea. I'm all about the ladies, and the ladies are all about me, especially those nice Quebec ladies. Oh yeah, can't wait for the WNBA. Corny Cup, you get out of here. We might have to change the first letter of your name to a H. Ooh, Corny Cup. There's a new one. Yeah, he's real corny. Let's put it that way. You got Corny Cup now. You got Justin Bieber and Corny Cup. All right, let's see. Ansem saying, I think our bench will be scary this year. Yeah, this is another topic that I tried to talk about last year. At some point in the beginning of the season, I was talking about, well, first of all, I wanted Nick Nurse to try and strive to have more of a consistent starting lineup. That with the Tampa year, we had such in and out of different people in the starting lineup. There's no consistency. Trying Aaron Baines here, trying Freddie Gillespie here. Some people are hurt. Yuta's in the starting lineup. Malachi's in the starting lineup. I just wanted him to get a more consistent starting lineup. And he was successful at this last season. That we saw that really talented core starting lineup, Fred, Gary, OG, Pascal, and Scotty start a lot of games. But we did have guys missing at different times, and that we had to plug guys in. But there really was a main starting lineup that was consistently our main, starting lineup. So I applaud Nick Nurse for doing that last season. In fact, we had way less starting lineups last season than the 2 years before. We had to switch guys in and out all kinds of crazy ways in the 2 years before that. So, yeah, I really hope our bench is much better this year, Ansem. And I think all signs point to it being that way. I mean, you just have more proven, capable veterans on your bench this year compared to guys who are kind of fringe NBA players trying to still make a name or make a rotation. Yeah, none of that. Otto Porter Jr., Thad Young, Chris Boucher, Precious Achua, Delano Banton. These are good quality bench players, if you ask me. All right, Vinny's in here, and he's got to say something. All right. Wait, whoa, Vince. Hey, Vince, it's me, Bret Hart, and I just got my Canada Walk of Fame star. So listen, you You may have screwed me, and you think I screwed myself, but you screwed me, Vince, and you know you did. When we went to Montreal with Sean, you screwed me, but I got a star on the Walk of Fame in Canada now, Vince. So there you go. And what do you got? A sexual harassment claims, and you're retired in shame. That's what you got, Vince. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Bret Hart, a real Canadian. That's right, Walk of Fame. Justin Bieber, your son, Vince. You're my son. You're Bret's son.
Yeah, you're my son, Vince McMahon. Okay, sorry about that interruption. But yeah, Vince McMahon's talking shit to Bret Hart in the background. So it's like, Bret Hart had to say something. All right, hang on. I know this is turning into Mr. Dress Up and Mr. Rogers here. I'm sorry. But it is corny and it's fun. Corny Cup. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's see. All right, Monique is saying the Open Gym season 11 is getting me pumped. So Lex, did you subscribe to Scotty's other YouTube channel? Bring this up. Yes, I did, Monique. And thank you once again for giving me a heads up that this channel is out there. Scotty Barnes Live, y'all. The latest, hottest YouTube channel on YouTube, other than Scotty Barnes' other channel. He has 2 channels now. So follow both of them. Different kinds of content. Produced Scotty Barnes, Life of Scotty Barnes on Scotty Barnes channel. And then Scotty Barnes Live, clips from his Twitch and fun clips. Really good 2 first clips on there. Flight versus Scotty and his middle school and high school highlights rewatched by Scotty now. And I was live. I was there for both of these when they happened in the stream. So you'll see my name in the chat on those clips because I'm there talking to him while he's doing it and stuff like that. So Monique, it was stuff I've seen, but it's kind of cool to go back and rewatch for sure because I was actually there when it happened. Rank Scrub saying if Scotty is made bench captain, we can center the bench rotation around Scotty's offense. This is an interesting idea because Scotty's won Rookie of the Year now. It won't hurt him to come off the bench this year, and he probably would do it if it made sense. But he'd still get a whole lot of minutes and stuff. He'd want to take that next challenge. Now it might hurt him making the All-Star team though. That's the thing. And those are the kind of things that probably Nick Nurse is thinking about a little bit in his mind, that he wants Scotty to continue his personal development in the NBA as a star. And that if he brings him off the bench, because this is what I was saying last year in the clips, was saying bring Scotty off the bench, that he'd be a great captain off the bench. It's very similar to what you're saying, Rank Scrub, but I was wrong then. And it could be that we're very wrong again this year. This guy just needs to start. He's just a starter in the NBA. Sure, he didn't start at FSU and stuff like that, but that really isn't who he is as a pro and stuff like that. So Vince McMahon loved that little bit with Bret Hart in the back. He saw him back there and he just wanted to say Bret screwed Bret. It's hilarious. I love mixing wrestling sometimes with this channel. Another thing that I talked about last year was how Scotty has magic appeal. That he's very much like such a smiley, happy, loving person that he has a real marketability to him in the NBA. And we're seeing it starting to come fruition. That we see him on Twitch and people he's gaining a lot of popularity. He's going to be one of the most popular players in the NBA in the next few years. I highly predict this. And it's just because of his personality, who he is, and just it doesn't hurt that he can make really cool, amazing highlights. And that he's so interactive with everybody through his social media, his Twitch and his YouTube and his Instagram and things like that. So, yeah, I think that that's something that he's continuing on the path with. Another subject I was talking about was positionless basketball. We were just starting to scratch the surface, the idea of positionless basketball, playing all the guys that are all very tall and switchable and all that kind of stuff, all the benefits. And this is still something that is still kind of unknown to how powerful this can be. And this season, we need to do more experiments with it, more time with it to really, really discover all of the true benefits of really a good clicking positionless basketball scheme. And that this year, I want to see more and more of it. Like if we had a percentage on the court of 40% positionless last year, I want to see this go over 50 this year. I'd like to see over 50% of the time we're positionless. And I know Fred's kind of a part of whether we're positionless or not, but this is something we definitely need to go and check more and more and reap more of the rewards and things from it, because it is a really, really awesome kind of strategy in basketball today. And it's something that is going to be more and more integrated on more and more teams. I really do believe it. Also, I was talking about Siakam last year. There was a point last year Siakam first showed up back in Toronto, and he went down to my old neighborhood near Kensington. He was shooting around on a neighborhood court near Spadina and Dundas. And I was like, man, that's where I shoot around. What the hell? Why is he? He's at my court where I like to go practice when I lived in Kensington Market. And I was trying to tell everybody, listen, there was so much trade talk about Pascal Siakam this summer, last summer, not this summer, that I was like, shut up. Pascal's exactly where he wants to be. He's home. Him and his mother have a house that he's bought that she lives in with him. And he very much has deep roots here in Toronto in all kinds of ways. Like, he's not American. He did go to school down in the Southwest in the US, but listen, he can be just as much at home in Toronto as he would be in any NBA city in the US. Because listen, he's multicultural, he's international. We just seen him in Paris taking pictures of himself with the Arc de Triomphe and the Eiffel Tower and stuff like that. So, you know, Pascal's home. And that was my whole point that I was trying to get across at this time last year. I think it's really cemented in at this point. And that I love that he really did have that journey back from that shoulder injury and came back and reclaimed his really badass position as one of the best unstoppable players in the NBA offensively. You know, it's really, really good. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying. Monique saying, predict Ron Jr.'s stats for me with the 905. That's really tough to do. Like, he's so weird to pin down as far as like what does it get. Like, David thinks 4-1-1. That's not very good, especially for G League level. I would say that he's probably going to average maybe close to around 10 points and maybe get like 5 rebounds and 4 assists or something. He's going to be very like all round kind of player, but maybe not on a very magnified scale. It could be that he gets double digits, like around 10 points, and he gets around 5 rebounds, 5 assists a game. It maybe he has lower assists than rebounds, but they should be pretty even and stuff like that. Let's see. Duke Rock saying, agree. Watching U.S. content, Scotty is very popular with basketball enthusiasts, and by association, the team as a whole will also gain popularity. It's very much like the Vince Carter effect. The Vince was just exciting and cool, and like he was that kind of the style of the day, and people really loved Vince all around the NBA. You didn't have to be a Raptor fan. The people that hated the Raptors were really into Vince also still on top of it, just because of his dunking, his showmanship, and stuff like that. And that Scotty can have the same kind of effect and same kind of things happen. Tom's saying, all right, this is awesome. Yeah, because this is true. Tom and Scotty are developing a friendship. I'm serious. I've seen it. I'm watching it. Scotty made me feel better commenting about my dog passing. Most 21-year-olds wouldn't be so cool, along with compassion and sincere. Cardi's going to be good home security. This is true. This was a segment in the last stream that Scotty did. I think it was on Sunday that we were talking about dogs, and people were asking Scotty about his dog, how old it was, what kind it is a Rottweiler. And Tom brought up in his comment, his dog that passed earlier this year, his Schnauzer. It's really sad, and it was like when Tom told us that, it was like he's pouring his heart out about missing his dog, and Scotty felt some real sympathy for Tom Duke in that moment, and he was very, very kind and nice to Tom, saying it's like, my condolences, dude. I have major sympathy for him, and the chat was really out there for him too. They were all saying all these nice things for Tom. My heart was hurting listening to Tom talk about it too. But like, yeah, it was such a nice memorial and honoring of Toto, Tom's dog that passed earlier this year. But Scotty cared about it. He really did, and he was trying to comfort Tom in that moment on Sunday and stuff like that. That was I forgot about that moment. I'm glad you brought it up, Tom, because this is important. You're an important Raptor freak, and that is important Raptor freak news. That Scotty Barnes cares about our, us and our pets. And if we lose a pet, he feels sad with us. Monique saying, guys, Vince himself officially on Instagram, feels the heels. Yeah, feels the heels. I like that, Tom. So Vince McMahon or Vince Carter is on Instagram. I wonder if it's Vince McMahon. Vince, are you on Instagram? Are you on Instagram, Vince McMahon? I want to know. Maybe she probably means Vince Carter. Yeah, Vince Carter's finally getting on social media in different ways and stuff like that. He's an old head like me. He's not as hip. Shanky is giving condolences to Tom. Sorry, it's hard to lose your pet. Yeah. He sounds like a really character too, Toto. Seriously. All right, let's see. Is it Toto or To Do? I think it's Toto. I think. Yeah. All good, but it was a rough one. Thanks, Shanky. Duke saying, I think Ron Jr. will be a first or second option with 905, so I expect to see good numbers from him, close to 25-5. Okay. Duke's more optimistic about Ron. Yeah, I hope so too. Like he should be one of the go-to guys on that team. Maybe Jeff Doughton's kind of more a ball handler, and Ron Harper's more of the scorer and stuff like that. I don't know. There's so many question marks about 905 this year. Like Eric Curry as a coach, how much Coloco is going to be there? Who's going to be showing up? Otherwise, is Jalen Harris going to be there? Is who's going to be playing on that team this year for a lot? So it'll be very interesting. Okay, it's Mr. Vince Carter 15. I'm sure Vince McMahon doesn't have an Instagram. You don't have one, Vinnie Mac, do you? You're just retired in the outback down in Australia at this point. That's right. All right, another stream I did last year was talking about OG and LeBron James. I was asking, is there a conflict of interest between OG Anunoby having Clutch Sports Management as his agents and LeBron James owning that company? Well, I don't think so. I think that OG's too much of a competitor. And the fact that he was with Octagon before he went into Clutch is kind of like he just kind of got pushed into this organization because they got his guy Omar. They went and hired Omar and put him on Clutch, and he just brought his clients, OG and Trey Young, and that's how they became Clutch people. So that was kind of what I was saying with that one last year. Then also we were looking at this. This ended up being a really big story, and this was completely true. Is the Raptors being in Canada going to be a home advantage for them in this new world post-pandemic thing? And it was. We saw that it was an advantage. We saw teams not send their best teams across the border because of pandemic reasons. We saw players like Kyrie Irving and different players not be able to play in Toronto. So this did turn out to be some sort of home court advantage for the Raptors last season. The fact that we're in Canada and the pandemic rules and stuff like that. We got hurt by being in Tampa for a full season. So it's only fair that we get a couple of benefits in the aftermath like that, what happened last season. So I was completely on point with saying that this may be a factor that helps us. And it did. It did help us, and sometimes it didn't help when we had to go no crowd for a while in the building, when we said no fans can be here because of a surge in the pandemic and stuff like that. That didn't help. But there were a lot of benefits also to being in Canada and having different rules than the US and stuff like that, whether it was players who couldn't come here or just players, they didn't want to gamble sending Golden State here and playing Steph Curry in Toronto this season, stuff like that. So David saying Eric Curry is a very smart guy. I suspect he will be great with the 905, and I expect he will be around for a long time with the head office in one capacity or another. Yeah, I'm excited. He really does. I like science. I like the idea of where he bases his coaching on and stuff like that. And let's see if he can get in there and be demonstrative and strong and respect and holding gravitas on the sideline with the referees and the players and stuff like that. Is he going to come out there and be, guys, we need to do better? Or is he going to be, guys, we need to do better? Is there going to be some sort of level of like intensity to him that will bring out the best in our players? Like we knew we had that with Mutombo last year. Patrick Mutombo is intense. Now, is Eric Curry intense enough? That's what I wonder about. Sure, you can have all the cerebral, smart stuff, but where's the charisma, the passion, the stuff that you need on the court, like Nick Nurse does for the Raptors on the main roster? That's what I'm interested to see about Eric Curry. I know he's got a lot of intelligence and very smart decisions and stuff, but can he do it with all that other intangible stuff too? I think you're right, David. But once again, all these coaches, whether it's Earl Watson, Rico Hines, Adrian Griffin, Eric Curry, they get snatched up because they become attractive, part of the Nick Nurse coaching tree. And we may be not seeing him with us for long term because he's getting hired by somebody else for a higher position and stuff like that. So yeah, David's saying if he doesn't have a pair, he wouldn't be here. Yeah, I think you're right. They wouldn't give him this responsibility if they didn't think he could handle it. So I'm going to enjoy it. I want to see what kind of coach he is and stuff. If there's any kind of funny moments with him and stuff like that. Go Curry. That's right, Monique. I believe in him. I think they're going to win a lot. It's just I really want to see this style. Like, will he get texts? Will he get in people's faces? Will he get have an intensity, a fire? That's what I want to know. Because in some ways I see him on open gym and I'm like, this dude's just a really nice guy who's kind of like, he's a nerd. I'm not saying that derisively. It's just like I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. He's a nerd. We're a nerd. David's saying, do you ever go to 905 games? I've never been to a 905 game. I barely ever go to Mississauga. I'm not gonna lie. Barely ever do. Tom Duke saying, all behind him for sure. I bet Nick Nurse likes chatting with him. Well, he's been probably like, you know what it is? It's probably that Eric Curry's been in the organization with the Raptors for so long, and he's done just amazing things behind the scenes with his metrics and his figuring things out with formulas. And they're like, man, this guy really knows his stuff. And they love his creativity and his thought process from the scientific approach. And it may be that, like, yeah, well, let's try him at this and this. And it's like he said in the open gym, he didn't really think he was going to be a coach, but he got more and more interested in that aspect of it and the actual like doing the stuff on the floor. Well, that's what I'm saying. I want to see this. I want to see this dude get intense. I want to see this dude if he has some Matumbo in him. Seriously. Yeah. Yeah. Is he our next doctor? Yeah. Maybe. I don't know if he has a doctorate. He might already have a doctorate, Eric Curry, because he's got a lot of degrees. Let's see. Another thing that was happening around this time was we switched announcers. That Leo Routens was going to be stepping down as a main Raptors announcer, and Alvin Williams was going to be taking his place. And I love this move. I thought this was a huge success. Leo still got a lot of time this year. And the thing is, this is what it is. Leo got sick of traveling. I'm going to tell you that right now. Leo got sick of doing the NBA grind, going from city to city, and he wanted to just be at home base. And that's why it ended up this way. Like Alvin's great though, because he has that player perspective and stuff like that. And Leo's just getting older. He didn't feel like traveling as much, but he's still part of the studio crew and still had to do some games this year because people got COVID at different times and he was in the announce booth at different times. But this was a great switch. And I know some people are not totally into Alvin because he's not totally like polished. He may have a little bit of problems at times in his announcing and stuff, but he's going to be way better this year. Trust me. It's like anything. He's just going to work harder and harder on it. And Alvin, I'm so happy that he's in there because seriously, he's a real Raptor. And he was there with Vince. And he was there in the beginning when we were making the playoffs for the first time. And he has such a wealth of good experience and things to tell us about from back in the day. I love hearing his old Raptor stories because it's always something I'm like, wow, I didn't know that about those Raptors back then. And it's all so fun. And obviously, Jack and Matt are such a great combo. The Ron Jeremy thing that happened this year is always going to be in the folklore of the Raptors announcing history. Ron Jeremy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to always be there and stuff like that. Let's see. David's saying he probably already has a PhD. He's very well educated. Yeah, this is probably true. He probably is Dr. Eric Curry already. Stuff like that. Duke's saying from an in-game point of view, we'll see what Eric Curry can do. But from a coaching philosophy, the 905 mirrors the big club. In regards to player respect, he's been part of the Raps for years. Yeah, they'll respect him. I'm not worried about the players not respecting him. And I'm not worried about his strategy and stuff like I said, I'm worried about his asserting himself and doing things like Nick Nurse has to insert himself. This is what happens with young coaches. Like even Steve Nash. Steve Nash was a great player and, MVP a couple of years and like all this stuff. But as a coach, sometimes he gets walked over because he's not that kind of personality that is right fighting for what he deserves in some ways. Like I'm telling you the truth. This is part of the problem with Steve Nash as a coach is that he's a little sheepish in some ways as his personality. And I worry about that possibly with Eric Curry, but there may be that there's a fire in him that I just don't understand. That's what I want to discover. I want to see. I'm not putting him down, guys. I believe in him, and I think he's going to be very successful. I'm just speculating and I'm just wondering about what kind of coach he truly will be. I mean, we saw him a little bit in Summer League, and they were pretty successful. He only coached that last game in Summer League. Trevor Gleason coached the other ones and stuff like that. So, okay, David's gone and done the research already. We're going to find out and stuff like that. He's saying that maybe not, just a master's, it seems. Okay. Graduated from the University of Toronto with a Bachelor of Applied Science in Aerospace Engineering and a Master of Applied Science in Experimental Fluid Dynamics. Like, seriously, this is a basketball coach. He's got degrees in aerospace engineering. Sounds like he should be coaching Vince Carter or Scotty Barnes or Precious Achua, the way they get up in the air. Yeah, we can teach you how to do your aerospace engineering with your dunks, players. And tell you about velocity and like wind drag. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. And then his other degrees in experimental fluid dynamics. Maybe that's experimental in like the fluid lineup that he can put out on the court. I'm going to, the dynamics of this fluid lineup and stuff. I don't know. I'm just riffing off the top of my head. But those are not normal degrees for a basketball coach. Let's just put it that way. These are not normal degrees. These are more normal for somebody working at NASA, working with astronauts and rocket ships than like on a basketball team. It's crazy. Tom Dukes thinks it's so impressive. So impressive. Jimmy Pope, good morning. Raptor Freak, Jimmy Pope, good to see you. Yeah, I think that is impressive. Like, those are some degrees. Seriously, aerospace engineering and experimental fluid dynamics. Wow. Wow. Maybe he's telling them when they need to drink more Gatorade. You need more Gatorade. You need more fluid dynamics. This is just a dumb person making fun of. I'm not making fun. I'm just making jokes. I love Eric Curry, and I think it's awesome. I don't want to downplay his accomplishments. They're amazing. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see. Monique saying, yes, Lex. Congratulations, Leo, on a great run all these years, even with Canada basketball, etc. Yeah, that's right. Leo was a part of Team Canada basketball in different ways, whether it's like in the GM kind of stuff or as a coach. I think he was coaching Team Canada for a while in some point. Leo Routens is an important part of the Raptors history because he was there day one. And he really, like I said last year in the segment about him getting replaced by Alvin, that he really kind of in a lot of ways taught Canada basketball. If you can put a list of people that have taught this whole nation the sport of basketball even more in the last decades, it's Leo Routens. Leo Routens on the Raptors broadcast taught us so much. And stuff like that. David thinks it's hilarious when I'm talking about Eric Curry. Kenne's saying Jay Triano was a soft coach too. I remember when he tried to break a clipboard. It was like, it just won't break. Kenne, that's actually true. That's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta be the right mix of like harsh and sharp, and also like good with your players too. Like, you have to be kind of an asshole and kind of have to be somebody that really fights for what they want. A little bit of a male Karen, like, no, referee, you didn't do this right. Like, you have to have that fire, that intensity, and you have to know how to turn it on and off in the right ways at the right levels with different things and stuff. Like, Nick Nurse is a master of this and stuff like that. But yeah, you can be a little too like passive as a coach. It's really bad. Really, really bad. You won't fight for your favor in ways that you need to in the game and stuff like that. And that's why you need that's why it's so hard to make it in coaching, because you come in with no respect and you have to build it. Like, Nick Nurse came in, he didn't really have a lot of respect in the championship year. He had to build it over the season. And wow, look, it became a championship. So it's that kind of thing. It's so hard as a new coach to build respect around the league, whether it's with the referees or with other teams and players and stuff like that. All right, let's see. David thinks that Kenny's hilarious. It is pretty funny. Jay Triano's a good dude, and he is in the history books as being the first ever Canadian head coach in the NBA. So, he's an important guy. I won't diss him too much. He's a good Canadian, right? Right. Wait a second. Listen, guys. Jay Triano is a great Canadian. He coached Team Canada for a while. He coached the Raptors. He has an impressive resume. So please do not diss him. Lexi, you're my son. I just got son. All right. Let's see. All right. Duke Rocks is saying Lowry stated at Nurse's golf charity game he owes Nurse for all he did for him before he became coach of the Raps. Yeah. I mean, Lowry can thank Casey also, because Casey and him had to meet the meeting point where they could both exist with their egos and their abrasiveness. They really had to mature, both of them. Like, Casey in a little ways had to allow things for Lowry, and Lowry had to mature fast. But, you're right. Lowry and Nick Nurse have a very strong bond, a very, very strong bond, and a lot of trust and stuff like that. It's so cool that Kyle came back this summer and was a part of the golf tournament, and that he was just there for Nick. It's just like that. That's family. Nick Nurse's family, and they love each other and stuff like that. It is a beautiful thing. David saying, no idea why Sportsnet replaced Leo. Absolutely insane. Leo is gone. Summer Lowe's here. Another great Raptor freak, a very knowledgeable Raptor freak, Summer Lowe. He still works for TSN. Sportsnet replaced him with Alvin Williams. Never understood why. David, it's because Alvin Williams is a former Raptor player. You look at Sportsnet and the Blue Jays. They like to have Pat Tabler or some other former player, Pat Borders, whoever, in there. Who was it? Greg Zahn at different times. They want to have players in the announce booth. And Leo was a player. He played in the league for the Sixers. And then he basically lost his job to Charles Barkley when he came in as a rookie. And Leo doesn't have a lot of NBA experience. He was great for us in our first decades of the team. And when we didn't have any players that were vets that could step in and do this role. Now, Morris came in and tried to do this, and it didn't take. Morris Peterson tried to be an announcer. It didn't work. But Alvin, he's been on track for doing this a while. He's been working for Sportsnet for like 8 years. And this is a natural progression. And it's much better to have a guy who used to play for the team in the announce booth that can really talk about, like he can talk about, well, when we were in this timeout with Vince Carter, this is what he said, or this is what Muggsy Bogues told me on this day and stuff like that. That is gold. That is such good gold for an announcer. So it really is that he's a former player and an important Raptors former player and stuff like that. So it's a lot of that. So, all right, let's see. Hey, Summer, been a while. It's good to see you guys saying hey to each other. David thinks that Alvin is annoying and hard to listen to. Well, it's different opinions and stuff like that. I love Alvin. You got to understand, Alvin's one of my favorite Raptors of all time. In fact, until recently, he was my favorite Raptor. The other guys since the championship and stuff like that kind of stolen my heart since, like Fred and Chris Boucher and Scotty. But Alvin is historically one of the most important Raptors to me personally. And that's just from like working in the arena when during the Alvin era with Vince Carter, seeing just exactly what he was doing and stuff like that. It's all good, David. Listen, I mean, I know that you're not totally an old Raptors fan, and it may be that like the Vince years, you weren't as interested in the Raptors. You've got to understand, Alvin Williams was like our first Fred VanVleet. He was like this dude who was totally dedicated to us. He wanted to be a Raptor for life. He turned his back on Philadelphia as a city. He's more Toronto than Philly at this point. And he hit some huge clutch shots for us in our early playoff series. Like when we beat New York in our first ever playoff series win, it was because of Alvin Williams. He hit some very important shots at the end of the game that got us the win. It wasn't even totally Vince. Vince was a part of it, sure. And he was a big time scorer, but Alvin was the dude who was hitting the big shots and stuff like that. So it's things like that. It's things like that and things like that. He's going to get better. His delivery is not totally like tight yet, but he's the kind of person who's going to work so hard on this, and he'll be better. And he absolutely belongs in that spot. Just trust me on this. Give him some time. I hated Matt Devlin when he first came in. I loved Chuck Swirsky so much that I hated Matt Devlin for like the first 3 years that he was announcing. I was like, I can't stand this guy. But now I love Matt Devlin. He's so good, and I'm very used to Matt Devlin. So let's see. Summer's agreeing with David. I'm not a big fan of Alvin as a broadcaster, but Leo is also super annoying. Yeah, Summer's like, pick your poison. Alvin or Leo. Can I just get Jack? That's what she's saying probably. Yeah, Leo can be very annoying. And one of the things that I really started to get annoyed with Leo was he was so pessimistic about the Raptors at times during their history that he would diss us so much. And he's supposed to be our broadcaster. Like he would talk down the Raptors and like he's being critical and honest. I understand. But like I said, shape it more to building us up, like kind of like our channel here, and not just tearing them down all the time. And Leo was tearing them down a lot for a while. And he would piss me off too and stuff like that. So, all right, David's saying, that's interesting. I find Leo to be witty, well-spoken, and knowledgeable about the game. He's like both. He's both. He can be both, but you got to look at his whole body of work. Like in the 90s when he did games, he was very, very dissing the team all the time. And then like over time, he's become more friendly to the Raptors. In fact, he's more likely out of all the analysts on TSN to diss the Raptors at this point. Him and Sam Mitchell, they can be very negative about the Raptors and not fair to them, much like the U.S. media. So that's part of the history with Leo. But I got to say, he is extremely knowledgeable. And like I just said a couple minutes ago, he is purely responsible for educating the country of Canada. Like if you have a list of the people that are most important to educating Canada to be more basketball savvy and knowledgeable, Leo Routins is near the top of that list, if not number one or two. Jack Armstrong's up there too. It's like Leo and Jack are very important for teaching the game to Canada. All right, yeah, no problem, David. Listen, this is the thing. This isn't the Alexi cult. This is the Raptor Freak cult. We're all Raptor Freaks, and we all have different brands and things and we like, and we don't have to all agree. That's a great, beautiful thing about it and stuff like that. So, Duke Rocks is saying, Lex, do you think with all these signings, the Raps have figured out a way to game the system? I just feel the Raps are ahead of the curve in some ways. We're definitely ahead of the curve in some ways. Like we're thinking about things that other teams wish they could have think about because they're just trying to struggle to stay above water. Think about the Nets right now. They're just doing damage control. They're just trying to figure things out. It's not totally like good there and stuff like that because everything's good with us. That means we can expend more energy into saying getting more organized and say everybody go to Rico Hines this summer and play and stuff like that, and do other things like get a little bit more gambling with our development, like and stuff like that. We have a proven track record of taking a real risk on picking up guys that are no names like Pascal Siakam and doing stuff like that. That in some ways has afforded us to play a little more loose and wild because we have such a good base and franchise and foundation of positivity and good stuff happening. Meanwhile, other franchises have to deal with all the negative, weird shit like Phoenix is now. And it takes away and distracts from putting a lot of good energy into getting, innovative and stuff like that. So that's part of it right there, Duke, is we have a very healthy franchise, is very well run and very well organized. That allows for more time to actually go and do amazing things on top of it because there's no distractions. So they are ahead of the curve in that way. I too do agree. There's other teams like us in the league that are similar though. Some are saying Leo keeps bringing up his own stories in the broadcast and players, and he coached on the Canadian team. Yeah, I don't mind him bringing up his stories and stuff like that. He's a weird one. I mean, I like Leo. I like all of them. Let's just get the only one that I don't kind of like is Sam Mitchell, but I can deal with Sam Mitchell. He's okay, but he's kind of annoying to me. But yeah, Leo can be tough. Like people have had problems with Jack Armstrong at times too, and said, I'm just sick of him. Why do we have these guys? This crazy old man yelling and screaming. Tom Duke saying, haha, Alvin got better by the end of the season. Just needs more playing time, airtime. That's right. More reps for Alvin Williams on the air, and he's going to be fine. Man, I love Alvin. I met him twice in real life. He's just a very genuine, nice dude. Like him and I are almost the exact same height. I can look eye to eye to him and stuff like that. He's just a cool dude, man. And listen, give him a chance. It's like he was a rookie last year. He is definitely in his rookie year as an announcer. And I think he's going to be great. You just got to give him some time to polish things. Let's see. David's saying, I used to travel 46 weeks out of the year for work for about 12 years. So I never had the chance to follow sports like I wanted to, always being out of the country, etc. Yeah, it's all good, man. I know you guys told me a little bit about y'all's story with the Raptors when we got together at the meet and greet and stuff like that. And, it's a weird era back then, like that Vince era and the stuff with Alvin and stuff like that. He really was. Like Vince was the most important Raptor at that time, but I would say Alvin was second in a lot of ways. So he's not like he was a role player or anything like a scrub or anything like that. This is a dude that was very important to our team. And the other thing about it is he was so dedicated to us at a time when Vince wasn't and a lot of other guys weren't. And, he was the one that was like the first one that really kind of held that mantle is I'm proud to be a Raptor and I'm going to stay in Toronto and I'm loyal. I'm loyal to this team. And I love him for that because nobody else was being like that. And he was the first one that really was. Let's see. Monique saying one thing about meeting you is now you know about Wheel-Trans, etc. Yeah, Monique. Well, I'm glad it all worked out. And it was so fabulous to meet Jackie. I really loved meeting your mom and just having a good time and hanging out with everybody and stuff like that. It was just a good all around experience. And I really love all y'all that came to that meet and greet. And we're definitely going to do it again. Kenny saying, hello, Jack. Hello. Get that garbage out of here. Jimmy saying, I like Alvin. He had his moments where he didn't shine as a broadcaster, but wasn't it his first year? Really kind of was. I can remember him doing like maybe spot duty here and there in years before, where he may come in and just do like one game. But this was his first time actually having the job this year and stuff like that. So, some are saying, yeah, Devlin really started to grow on me. It's funny when he can't stop laughing. Yeah, when he first came in, Summer, you remember he was very by the book. He was very like a textbook, just generic announcer. And like he just came from like the Bobcats. He had been the Bobcats announcer and the Grizzlies announcer before that, and he was just very plain, going from like salami and cheese and onions, baby, onions, and all that stuff with Chuck. And the rapport between Chuck Swirsky and Jack Armstrong was just off the charts. Like they were crazy. But now Matt Devlin is getting to levels like Chuck and Jack were back in the day, as far as their interaction and just fun that they have. Like I said last year, I feel like Matt Devlin might have been eating marijuana brownies before the game, some sort of edible, because he was just so giggly and fun. Matt Dillon, like if you're eating edibles before the game and they're making you a little do it. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't tell him to do that, but all right, let's see. Duke saying, I hate to say it, but if Armstrong is becoming annoying, I hate to say it, but Armstrong is becoming annoying to me. Leo states the obvious too much. Might be because he feels he still has to educate Canada. Alvin is new, so I kind of liked his perspective. We're all gonna. It's like in different flavors of ice cream and stuff like that. I think that we have good broadcasters overall for our franchise, and I think that it's really awesome that we have Amy Audibert kind of coming up in the ranks too. Like it could be down the road. She very much could be part of our broadcasting regularly on the regular and stuff like that. That she's somewhere in that escalator coming up into that job. And that's so cool. I think that she does a really good job also. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it all pans out and stuff like that. But I really love Alvin being there. He's my dude. I'm gonna protect him every kind of way, just like I protect Ken Burch from like people now. I'm gonna protect Alvin because that's my dude. I really love Alvin. Ken A saying, I was mind blown when I found out Leo's 8 years older than Jack. Whoa. Yeah, you just blew my mind. I forgot about that. That's actually true. Holy crap. You know what this is? It's just that Jack has always looked like an old man. He's like one of these dudes that, like, even when he was 30, he looked like he was 60. And Leo is one of these dudes that looks like a younger dude than he is. But that is a crazy stat, Kenny. And I forgot about that fact. And you just telling me that, and the fact that I forgot about it just blew my mind, because that is true. Holy crap. Leo is 8 years older than Jack. Can you believe that, guys? Wow. Wow. Monique saying, I got deep thoughts after hearing about Matty D's son. Jack, it hit me a bit. Go, Jack. Yeah, Jack Devlin. Keep on rocking and rolling, Jack Devlin, with what you're doing in your life, graduating from university and being in your degree and stuff like that. I know you're going to do some great things, Jack Devlin. We're really proud of you. And we're also proud of Matt's other son that got drafted in the NHL this year. Yeah, Devlin boys are out there accomplishing things and stuff like that. I love to see it. Skater Dylan saying, I watch every second of these guys. Just because I'm not active in the chat doesn't mean I'm not here. If I wasn't working 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday, I'd be more active. No problem, Skater Dylan. We know you're here. Mind blown. David's blown. His mind's blown that Leo Routins is 8 years older than Jack Armstrong. That is crazy. That is crazy. Kareem Thomas is saying, I love our commentators. All I ask for is more Ron Jeremy references. Laugh out loud. Yes. What a golden moment. Oh my gosh. Like, seriously, you can kind of get high off of bottling just Matt Devlin's like giggling for like the 5 minutes after that. Like, you can watch him giggle. Like, you could watch this after you watch me and watch that whole segment with Matt laughing at Jack for like 5 minutes, and you can't help but start laughing yourself. It's that infectious of kind of comedy, and just like it harkens to a time where you just are uncontrollably laughing because something's so funny. And I just love that about Matt, that he can have that kind of like lose total like decorum and like professionalism and just like be rolling on the floor laughing. Seriously, it's like that's a great moment. Seriously, we've had a lot of good moments from last year. But that was one of them from the announce team. Hilarious. So good, Kareem. And I appreciate your comments. Kareem's been a great Raptor freak all year. He's had some badass comments throughout the season. Really funny stuff, Kareem Thomas. Monique saying, Amy Audibert also covers CEBL. Amazing. Yeah, that's great. There's a lot of young people coming up. And Amy Audibert, that's a great level for her to do more and get more polished. And then boom, someday she'll be a color person for uh, um, the Raptors main squad. She's already done some games and stuff like that. Vinny Mac saying, I don't know if you talked about this, but do you think the punishment for the Suns owner is weak? I think the punishment's very strong, but I think it does need to go further and it needs to be permanent. I think this whole idea of him just going away for a year and coming back and hopefully everybody will forget about it. Yeah, that may not happen. Not in today's day and age. Like he's been branded as something at this point. And like I said, Robert Sarver does not look like he cares or is remorseful. He can say whatever and put a public press release out there. But I've heard from the inside that it was very acrimonious, the battle over what his punishment would be, that he was fighting with the NBA and Adam Silver saying, I don't deserve any of this. I don't think you should be punishing me at all. And that he reluctantly took these punishments. In fact, he was fighting tooth and nail against each step of it and stuff like that. It may very well be that they wanted to kick him out. And he said, no, you can't do this to me. I'll get my lawyers and all this stuff. But this is the thing. It's not on the NBA at this point. It's on the owners. If the other NBA owners vote to kick him out of ownership in the NBA, he will lose his spot. So Adam Silver can't make this decision to just kick him out outright. The other owners have to, just like they did with Donald Sterling. So, yeah, there you go, Vinny Mac. All right, let's keep looking back in my crystal ball. There was a whole issue with Goran Dragic maybe wearing number 7 with Kyle Lowry. Be at number 7 for our team, and he said, no, I'm not going to wear it. Meanwhile, Kyle wore his number 7 down south because these are not equal players. Like Goran Dragic is not a champion. Kyle Lowry is the GOAT, and you're not going to wear number 7 in Toronto, Goran. No, you are not. No, you're not. But Kyle will wear number 7 in Miami because that's just the difference of y'all and which players y'all are and stuff like that. That was a segment I did. And also, we were talking about last year. One of the segments I did before preseason was about how we the highest Canadian content on our team ever, because we had 3 Canadian players on the team: Kem Birch, Delano Banton, and Chris Boucher. And I love that these guys are all retained for this year, that we re-signed Chris this summer, and we still have our 3-headed Canadian monster off the bench. We saw this happen during the season, that they would bring in all 3 of them at once. It was like the three-headed Canadian monster would come out there off the bench. Delano, Kem, and Chris would come in together. And that was so fun. Like I said, anybody who wants Kem Birch traded off this team right now, shut up. We love our Canadian content, right? Right? This is an important part of what Justin Bieber cares about. Listen. All right, guys, listen to me here. This is very important in the country of Canada, that we have Canadian content that balances out with content from other countries, namely the United States. And in our NBA roster, that we need to have a certain percentage of Canadian content. I mandate this as Justin Bieber, regent of Canadian content for this channel. So if you want to kick Kem Birch off this team, just go away, please, because we need Kem Birch on this team to keep Canadian content up to standards. And in fact, we would like to acquire more Canadian players to the Toronto Raptors to make this even better. Okay, so there you go. And by the way, Alexi is my son. Okay, yeah. All right, so there you go, straight from the Beaver's mouth about Canadian content. This is a very important thing about our team. So let's honor and cherish a Toronto Raptors fan as a child, Kem Birch, 45 bus from Rexdale, Mr. Delano Banton, and then, Trey Magnifique, say Chris Boucher, monsieur. Yeah, we want these dudes on this team, and we don't want to trade them. In fact, we would like to get 4 or 5 Canadians on this team. How about some Leonard Miller down the road? How about Andrew Wiggins, RJ Barrett, SGA coming back at some point? That's what I'm saying. We want to encourage our Canadian guys to be here. And I love that we have more Canadian players on our team than ever right now. And that's the best. That is awesome. Yeah. Let's see. Thank you, Vinny Mac. We won't bring Brett back into this. I mean, if you want to talk to another wrestler, I got them all right underneath me, Vince. Just so you know, there's like, they're all down there. I got like 50 of them. All right, let's see. Monique saying Montreal and Edmonton can't wait to see y'all show up. Go nuts. Go Raptors. Yeah, Edmonton fans are asking Scotty in his Twitch, are you going to play in Edmonton? Are you going to play in Montreal? They want to know because they want to see Big Four on the court. Yeah. Who's Goran? Monique saying, who's Goran? Who is that even? Oh, he's on the Bulls this year. Unfortunately for DeMar, I don't like that. All right, let's see. That's basically it, guys. I just wanted to kind of go over the beginning of this stream last year. It wasn't even a live stream in the beginning. I just get on and I'd read something and tell stuff that I had prepared, and then you guys showed up. I did. It was even kind of by accident. I had intended this channel to be just me making like normal YouTube content, where I just come on and I do a thing and then I post it. But there's an interaction that happened and occurred over time with like people like Sue came in very early and started talking to me through the chat, and it evolved into what it is now with these hours and hours of live streams where we're actually talking to each other, and that's fantastic. I love that development. In fact, this is what makes this channel a little bit unique and specific and very niche, is that there's a lot of other Raptors content out there, but there's no two-way street like this with content. And I appreciate that development, because seriously, this was supposed to be just like a 5 to 10 minute clip every day kind of channel. But I'd much rather and love doing it this way with you guys, because this has become something that's even bigger than me and just me wanting to put Raptors content on there. We are creating a community, and this is so awesome. I love this so much. Like, I seriously feel like some of y'all are like some of my best friends at this point. That, listen, the pandemic did weird things where we had to be shut-ins and not be around a lot of people. I'm a single man, other than my girlfriend, but she lives apart from me, so I was by myself in my house and stuff like that. So it's like, I had to make new friends, and this was part of the way I did it. So I really appreciate y'all being here with me for the year ride. This next year is going to be so much fun. And like I said, I'm going to continue to try and make this channel better and better as we go. And I appreciate y'all trying to help me with my crusade to get 1,000 subscriptions, so that we can I can get as a partner with YouTube and do different things differently and stuff like that. But I appreciate everyone. Please subscribe. I know all you all have already, but if you haven't, this is really the best way you can support me and help me out. And it's so easy. Just click it. And if I piss you off later on because I said something politically, you can always just take it back. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining me today on this Wednesday. Just a recap, a reminiscing of the very beginning of the Raptor Freak channel and now where we're at this point. Tomorrow is a Thursday think tank, and we're going to be talking about new rules. We're going to be talking about the Elam ending. We're going to talk about the mid-season tournament. We're going to talk about the innovations that the NBA is tinkering with and trying out for possible better entertainment value in their league, and what you like and what you don't like and what you think should happen and stuff like that. It's the think tank, is where we all get together and we share our opinions and talk about something. And tomorrow's going to be new rules. We're going to talk about new rules in the NBA. All right, Tom Duke, I love to see your 5 dinosaur lineup for the Raptors. Woo! Let's go.